It is raining right now, so please ignore the rain. Hi everyone, and welcome back to our F class channel. My name is Ratu with student number 124, and today we're going to be doing a little Q&A about weather. I have all of my questions right down here on my laptop. You can't see it, but it's there. So let's get started. Question number 1, what is the weather usually like in my hometown? So I'm from Jakarta, and in Jakarta, most of the time the weather is quite sunny. It's quite hot. Sometimes it can be hot and dry at the same time, which is not a great thing to experience whatsoever. But for most of the time, it's quite sunny, and I really like it actually. The second question is, what is my favorite weather? My favorite weather is like, the way I would describe it is a sunny day after a downpour. So the way I would explain it is, you wake up to a sunny day right after it just rained. So it's not too hot, even though like it is a sunny day, but the temperature is cooled down because of the rain. So it's like a good combination of the two weathers. The third question is, do I like the weather in my hometown? For most of the time, yes, but not when it's like the peak of the weather. So the fourth question is, do I like wet weather? Again, not too much, but I do like it. I love rain. It's such a calming weather to have, especially when it rains in the middle of the night. Ugh, the best time ever to just hit the hay. So the fifth question is, do I prefer wet or dry weather? I do prefer wet than dry weather. I think simply because dry weather makes me heave, makes me have breathing problems. With wet weather, it feels nice, it feels comforting to some degree. The sixth question is, do I like hot and dry weather? No, I would love to stay at home in my own bedroom with the air conditioner on and just listen to music and not bother about the weather outside, because it's too much, and too much of anything is never good. So the seventh question is, what do I usually do in a hot weather? Well, first of all, wear a lot of sunscreen. Second of all, I usually wear a lighter clothes, but if I'm too lazy to use sunscreen on my arms, I just put on a sweater. Yes, it does get hot inside, but it prevents me from getting tan lines. So the second part of this question is for me to describe my favorite season. Now in Indonesia, we only have 2 seasons, so I'm going to describe my favorite. My favorite season in Indonesia is the wet season, the rainy season. I like it because it offers me a comfort that I've never felt before. It's like a warm, or I guess in this context, a cool hug from someone. It calms me down, it lulls me to sleep, it helps me sleep even. And you just want to chill out in your bedroom and do nothing. Now we're down to the last 4 questions. So the first one is, do you think that the weather affects people's mood? I would answer yes, I think it affects people's mood. When it's raining, you feel sort of calm. Personally, sometimes I would get a little bit upset if the weather's a little too hot for my liking, because the sun is shining down on me and I'm getting burned as I'm walking to the bus stop. It's not the greatest feeling. Next question is, does air pollution affect the weather? And yes, one of the examples of how pollution affects the weather is acid rain. Acid rain is when you mix pollution with clouds. Therefore, it changes the water inside of the clouds into acid, and when it rains, it can cause a lot of damage to a lot of things, especially things that are made out of iron. The acid will destroy the iron. second to last question, do you think that the weather affects people's behavior? Yes, the weather can affect people's behavior, which in turn can affect their actions, their decision to do something. They might postpone something simply because it's raining, because they're too lazy because it's raining. So the last question is, what other examples of bad weather around the world? And one of them is a wildfire. A wildfire can actually be caused by a heat wave. So when the sun is shining too hot on a certain forest area, it can actually start burning down some of those trees, and when the fire spreads, it'll spread around the entirety of that area, which cause a wildfire. Another example of bad weather is also a tornado. A tornado is caused by when the wind and the rainstorm comes together and they start spinning around and start destroying other people's houses. Now, sometimes a tornado can be so bad that they can turn off the electricity of one area. That's all for the Q&A. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, make sure to like and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you later. Bye!